Listen Up, Maryland, presented by Dempsey's and Sports Land alongside Ryan Renner. It's Phil with Sarah. Ryan, a little bit late, but better than never. Paige Beckers. Leah, I know this really probably had you surprised here right off the bat. Paige Beckers leads all scorers for UConn with 16. I know that'll be a headline tonight scrolling across the ESPN channel. Paige Beckers scores 16, Ryan. UConn goes on to defeat Georgetown 84-38. It's a beautiful thing. I tell you, when you can carry your regular season dominance into the postseason, and that's exactly what they did to kick off the postseason. Ryan, not much. And again, it's so hard. If people would try to do this by themselves, I'm sure you can relate since you come on these episodes with me. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. They're starting to blow these opponents out game after game. That's what Connecticut fans want to see it. We want to see it. But it's so tough to try to gather new information up and piece it all together and talk about different stuff because there's really not a lot is different in these ball games. It's blowout after blowout after blowout.
Yeah, and this is, as they make their way through the Big East tournament, this will be the second or third time they're playing these teams already this season. So they know each other a good amount, and we've already recapped these teams 2 or 3 times. So, but I mean, this is the first time I'm looking at the box score. I couldn't watch the game today. I think you were able to, but Becker's 18 minutes. She scores 16 points off the bench, 6 for 9, hit 4 threes. So it looks like she had a pretty good game. Leah Edwards, 14 points as well. She's really came on at the end of the season. She's been in the starting lineup, along with Vina Westbrook. She's one of 2 Huskies, like we said in the last video, that she played every single game. And she struggled a little bit in the beginning of the season, but she's really brought it on here at the end of the season. And that's been a big part in why UConn is blowing these opponents out, is because she's scoring about 10 points a game, getting a lot of rebounds, and her size down low, it makes up for a lot of UConn's defense as well.
Yeah, that's right. So I'll go ahead and give you my take. I know it's going to be a little bit more tough for you to evaluate what happened today on the game. I'll give you my takes, and then I'll just hear what you have to say about it. And then because I understand you wasn't able to watch. I watched the first 3 quarters. I was not able to watch the last quarter. So I was kind of shocked, like you, to see where Paige Beckers led with 16. She did seem kind of her shot. She had some 3-point attempts there early in the game. She came in, I think it was 3 minutes, maybe something around that area, ballpark, 3 minutes in the second quarter, I believe. So she didn't start again, but they did bring her off of the bench into the game. Now, again, I'm not starting any rumors here, but I saw where she kind of was favoring that left leg. I don't know if it was just the way she was running down the floor. But again, during these ball games, and again, it made my heart pound just when she got fouled, when she hits the floor. I mean, now when you make contact, I don't know about you, but anytime you make contact now with Paige Beckers, now, again, I had to get this out of my head because we can't be like this, so nervous and afraid when this happens during her junior and senior year. But just speaking on this season and the rest of March Madness, man, it's all you can do, man, to hold your breath when, especially them contact plays, when she makes a shot and then gets fouled, hits the floor hard. That was really, I was holding my breath a lot of them plays.
Yeah, that's the first thing that goes through my mind. And like you said, we shouldn't really be like that, but especially with her coming off that really bad leg injury, that's the first thing that goes through my mind.
It shows that we don't trust the coaching staff and the medical team, but we do. Yeah. But you already know how quick one thing can happen.
Yeah, I mean, just that quick she could get injured again, and hopefully that it doesn't happen. And but it's been a pretty good ride for UConn these past couple games.
Yeah.
They rode that winning streak to close out the season and got the bye, obviously. So they've had about almost a week off here. And then, just to blow out Georgetown in the Big East quarterfinals.
Yeah.
So they have a ton of momentum, especially going into March Madness. It's going to be interesting to see what seed that they end up getting into March Madness, because for most of the regular season, people didn't think they'd be a 1 seed. But now with them winning all these games, and if they do win the Big East tournament, they might be close to getting that number 1 seed.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and again, I look like a fool, saying that, because I told you that I had them being cut short of the Final Four. So I mean, again, you never know, but yeah, they are. I mean, they're not lying when they say that they're really finding their tune and their chemistry, if you will, at the right
Right.
time, right? Um, Starting off at the beginning of the game, I know you didn't watch it. Georgetown and Connecticut, Ryan, it was like a 3-point shooting contest. They were up and down the floor, and they must have had, between the two teams totaled, I think the first 9 or 10 shots of the game was all 3-point attempts. And you won't believe it, but there was a time in this ball game, Ryan, where Georgetown had the lead. That's right. Georgetown had the, yeah. I think it was 6-3. After that, I think UConn never looked back. But again, you have to always have close games in the beginning, right? I mean, because the game starts out 0-0, so it's always has to be close. But it's just, again, I think this is what UConn fans, I'm not going to say that they take this for granted, but down the road, if you start to see this program fall off of cloud 9, if you will, and start to, downsize a little bit, and other teams can start to compete with them better. I think that UConn fans are going to look back and really, they're going to be like, man, we took this for granted, because it's just not, it's not your normal everyday thing. You don't, your NFL team doesn't come out every Sunday and blow teams away like this. The
No.
Baltimore Ravens doesn't come out every Sunday and blow teams away like this. You want to point out all the teams that have star players around them, point them out. They still don't come out and blow out teams like this. This is very fortunate for these fans and what we're witnessing nowadays, and it might not last forever.
Yeah, it's definitely something you don't see every single day. I'll tell you that. But yeah, I mean, another great shooting game from UConn, 50% from the field, 40% from 3. Free throw percentage a little low at 57, only made 8 out of 14. So that's something going forward that could really be important, because when you get into March Madness, everybody that watches it knows that, especially when you get to the Sweet 16, Elite 8 level, most of your games are going to come down to those last 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And, sometimes when you get the lead and then teams will try to foul you, knocking down your free throws is going to be really, really important to closing out games. So that's something something that UConn can improve on. That's probably about the only thing they can improve on at the moment, because they're just blowing all these teams out. 13 steals again, 5 for Krista Williams. She had another great game, 15 points from her. Really good shooter. So yeah, UConn, a lot of momentum. Hopefully they can keep it going, because it's going to be one heck of a ride getting all these players back. And this is what we've been talking about the whole entire season. If they can get everybody healthy,
yep, exactly.
It's going to be fun to watch.
Preach it, brother. Preach it. I tell you, we have. And for guys, and again, we appreciate everybody that's tuning in and watching us, because, we're not saying that, we're right all the time, but we're pretty darn close. I mean, who can bet against UConn? Come on. I mean, so we figure, the pieces will come together and they will piece it up just at the right time. I mean, you're talking about one of the greatest coaches ever in not only women's basketball, but in basketball. So again, I mean, that's tough to say, nah, they can't do it. They can't. And again, hey, would I be surprised if they make it to the championship game? Not at all. Not at all. Even though I have them being cut short of the Final Four, I wouldn't be surprised, Ryan. I mean, it's Gino. What do you expect? And I appreciate someone who commented earlier on one of our previous videos about how these girls are not like, Cinderellas or, just like a fairy tale Disney story, right? I mean, these girls, they come out, practice hard, give it their all every day. But what the point I'm getting at in this ball game, because again, I have not watched UConn a whole lot this season. What had me stunned was the way, Ryan, that they are able to pass the ball around. And when Paige Beckers entered the game there in the second quarter, I believe, it's like the speed and the up tempo of this ball team went to a whole nother level. I mean, it was amazing. It was just like from slow motion. Then when Beckers entered the game, Georgetown had no idea what was going on, and UConn just got that much quicker.
Yeah, and again, that's credit to Gino and the coaching staff, because I guarantee you that UConn is one of the few teams that practice the really hard during all week leading up to these games. And I heard one of the announcers on one of the previous games I watched talk about how Gino, he's not going to let you play, or definitely not start if you cannot pass the ball. So when these girls come to UConn, you better be able to pass, because Gino, he's not going to put you in the starting lineup until you learn how to pass the ball and can build chemistry with your teammates. So that's something that's just the culture that Gino has built in this UConn program. Just so much chemistry, and how these girls can work together, pass the ball so good. They just know how to get each other going. It's something special to watch.
I know there's so much to go over in so little time. I know we're running out of time, Ryan. I want to go over some comments on the last video and then we'll head out. Shout out to AZ Fudd's mom. AZ Fudd's mom. She played basketball back in her younger days. I didn't realize. The Fox Sports 1 reporters again did an incredible job. All three of them. The one analyst, the female analyst on the side, reporting from the court, she had a good story about AZ Fudd's mom, about her back in the day. And AZ Fudd, they talked about how she has an identical mid-range jump shot, just like her mom back in the day. So again, you get it must run in the family, right? A lot of these basketball skills and the talent that we see. So shout out to AZ Fudd's mom. She was in the house today watching the game. AZ Fudd, Ryan, they talked about how coming out of high school, how she was so talented shooting 3-point shots, but now usually it's opposite to me. I mean, that's just my opinion. I don't know. Usually you would be first settle inside the paint, get good at your mid-range jump shots from in the paint. This time AZ Fudd was a beast coming out of high school, very hot from way downtown, right? Shooting 3-point shots. But now they talked about how it's good news, such a early time, that AZ starting to develop her mid-range jump shots, and she had some good ones here in this ball game against Georgetown today.
Yeah, and I mean that's why she was the #1 recruit coming out of high school, right? We knew she was good. We knew she could shoot the three. And that just goes to show the kind of athlete that she is, and her personality, that she's just able to perfect her game, if you will, in all assets of the game, and especially her defense. I think she's a very solid defensive player as well. She can shoot the ball very, very good, just like all the other players on UConn. But I think she plays pretty solid defense. But going forward to next season, I think that's something she can improve on as well. And she's only going to get better and better, because she's only a freshman.
Yeah. Then, hey, even though obviously they took the loss, I wanted to shout out to just give our condolences rather, and say how very sorry we are for. It was Grace Ann Bennett, Ryan, on Georgetown. Her mother recently passed away. It gave me chills, man, to see. They showed in a previous game, not this one, but previous game, when she returned, I guess just days after her mom had suddenly passed away, the coach and her had a moment together near the bench, and man, talk about tears flowing. And just them embracing and her hugging the head coach. Man, and you and I talk about all the time, for people that just now hear us talking about this only because they only saw our UConn videos, how much sports means, man. And when you factor in the capability, athletes that are able to come and give it their all, put the team on their back, give it their all for a basketball program, as young as she is, college student, for crying out loud, right? College student. So when you see this kind of stuff, man, it's an inspiration. I'm sure it is to you, and I'll let you speak on your part, but it is for me. And I just wanted to, shout out to that whole family and from Maryland. And man, we're very sorry to hear about her mom suddenly passing away. Again, that was Grace Ann Bennett, Ryan, Georgetown Hoyas.
Yeah, thoughts and prayers go out to her and her family. But I just think sometimes we get, as fans of the game, we get too caught up in how competitive, and we enjoy rooting for our teams and cheering them on. And when you hear something like this, you just take a step back and realize that they're all humans as well, and that they all have feelings and emotions, and especially when something tragic like this happens, it really just it makes you realize how big of a community the sports community really is. And we just when something like this happens, just send thoughts and prayers out to whoever it affects, and just try to move on. And that's something that these athletes, like you mentioned, that how quickly they can move on from something like that.
That's what it's all about, how
that they're
strong,
still able to
and
play.
how strong they are. Only college
Yeah.
athletes, right? I mean,
Yeah.
and she could have easily dropped out the rest of the season, but she's
Yeah.
right back out there, putting the team on her back and hustling hard, right?
Yeah, just incredible that she's able to go through something like that and still go out and give it her all.
All right. With that said, we'll get to comments from the last video, and then we will get out of here. Ryan, I heard, I don't know if this is right here. I think that they had mentioned, so Nika Mule was the Big East Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
So again, I just want to remind everybody, man, it was tough. I know Ryan agrees on this, but it was tough to only pick what offensive, defensive, and MVP for that. I mean, only 3 players out of that whole roster. We understand it was tough. We wish we could have picked every player for every single category, right? But it's hard when you have this talented team, Ryan. Now, it's kind of weird, right? Because on some teams that aren't that good, it'd probably be easier to pick your top 3, offensive, defensive, and MVP. But this time it's like, oh my gosh, who do you pick? So again, we appreciate everybody coming through on the last video with the comments. Ryan, we'll start out with the first one. I know it was so many. We appreciate everybody coming through. Here we go. Jamie Centrella goes again. She commented, Ryan, she goes, start talking about the recruits. Hey, Ryan, I told you we're going to get to that.
That's another one to write down in my notes to keep to the all season videos.
Ayana and Ice and Ashlyn, who have had incredible senior seasons. You can mention former UConn assistant coach Shay Ralph, who just took over that program this year, and she just got Vanderbilt their first SEC tournament win. It had been 6 years since that program won a game in tournament. Wow.
Yeah, I we'll definitely talk about that during the all season. Like I said, that's another one to write down in my notes. We won't forget that one.
Let's go over to, hey, I had to point out this one, with me being such a diehard Ravens fan. He came across, I guess, your comment right away on that last video. Ing Raven Vids, what's up, buddy? I know he's down there in Florida, enjoying that nice weather while Ryan is up here hating this cold weather. Ing Raven came through right after the last video, and he goes, yeah, cold weather is the worst.
Yeah, it is. I'm glad it's a pretty nice day out today. It got a little warmer today, but yeah, I can't stand the cold weather. But yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Okay, this one here. How about Hunsu Lim goes? We appreciate you commenting. He goes, Ryan, Katelyn Clark is Player of the Year. Single handle brought Iowa up 9 spots. I do care if they get bounced in the first round. Caroline's game is so old school efficient. Larry Bird. AZ needs to stop trying to make the game so perfect, if that makes sense. He put E. I want to see her and Kristen shoot more, as always, and consistent. Gino deserves AP Coach of the Year. I do agree with that one, but I don't think they'll give it to him. Oh, wow. Ryan, Dorka and Liv need to stay out of foul trouble. Nika and E should be considered for MVH. Nika needs to be defensive player of the year. She sparks this team. She's like the Draymond Green of the Warriors. As Paige was gone, and while the team has turned into an old school UConn team, defense first.
Yeah, I love that take. That's a very good
Yeah,
take.
it is.
I'll
Yeah.
start with Katelyn Clark and what she's done. We talked about her a little bit. What she's done with Iowa is incredible. And when she's ready to go to the WNBA, I think she'll get picked in the first round. Obviously, if she doesn't get injured or anything like that. But Iowa definitely has a good year or two left from her. And they're definitely a team to watch out for in the future because she is just an incredible athlete. And the AZ trying to make the game perfect, I do agree with that a little bit. I feel like she just sometimes, especially when Paige was out, she was trying to do maybe a little too much. But we have to remember she is just a freshman, so she still has a lot of stuff to learn. Yeah, but and Nika Mule as well. She did get Defensive Player of the Year for the Big East, so that was a good take as well. And I feel like we don't talk about her as near as much as we should because she does just about a little bit of everything for this team. So very, very good player.
And then we'll go to Aaron Davis, Ryan, to cap it off because we're running out of time. He goes, "You guys are doing a great job repping the Huskies." Thank you, Aaron. I'm in Bloomfield, Connecticut. Wow. Shout out to Nikesha Sales and got to see every home game this season. Heading to Mohegan Sun Sunday and Monday to watch the final local games. It was me that wanted CW to get her roses. She came back from injury with a different mindset and was a rock for the team, along with Westbrook. I was surprised that Dorka left because in my honest opinion, she's not WNBA ready. Most of the turnovers were dead ball because of traveling, and Mule going to be a very good NCAA tourney to watch because there is no clear winner. Wow.
Yeah, thanks for the support.
South Carolina, be on alert again, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting tournament for the men and women, but a lot of good teams this year for the women. South Carolina has been number one all season long, but anything can happen in March. That's why they call it March Madness. So I know we both of us can't wait to watch the whole tournament.
This is it, Ron. The next game, number one, UConn goes in tomorrow at 3:00, Ryan. Again, it's to be determined. Again, we're inching this much closer. It's staying light out longer outside, and we're this much closer to March Madness. Again, as always, Ryan, it's Phil and Rye on Listen Up.